Usually people define it as listening to understand and not listening to respond. So raise your hand if you've ever been in a scenario where you feel like you are sitting around with a group of friends and someone's telling a story and all you're thinking about is, man, I can't wait for him to get done telling his story because then I can tell my story, which is way better than his story. Have we not all been in that situation? And then you have to think to yourself, well, why are we even hanging out in the first place if I'm not even listening to him? I'm just waiting for my turn to talk. So I want to tell a little story. It's going to take 2.5, 3 hours tops. May, we're cool with that, right? Yeah, absolutely. And afterwards, we can all go hang out and play in the golf simulator that you got over there. So I went to a very small elementary school. Everyone knew everyone, and the principal was a very, very special, unique, very cool person. And you can imagine a principal at a school. All they get is people walking in there really, really angry. You know, no parent walks in there and says, hey, just so you know, my kid's doing great. No kid walks in there and says, hey, just so you know, the bathroom on the second floor, it works perfectly, she's humming right along. No teacher walks in there and says, hey, just so you know, I think I might be getting paid too much. If you want to scale that back, that would be great. People are walking in their mouths breathing fire because they're really, really angry always. And somehow, people would walk into this principal's office really, really angry and then walk out not so angry. You can imagine what I would come in there as maybe a first or a second grader come in there, and I would come in there with the most ridiculous thing. I would say, hey, you know, I traded my peanut butter and jelly for my bagel for Jonah's peanut butter and jelly, but it turns out that Jonah's peanut butter and jelly was really dry and didn't have enough jelly on it. And now I'm stuck because Jonah said no take back, so now I'm stuck eating this dry peanut butter and jelly. And I go in there with that story, and I walk out thinking two things. Thing number one, Jonah's parents have got to figure out how to make a PB&J. It's just not that hard. And thing number two, I walked out of there thinking, wow, I'm really, really important. I might be the most important person in this entire school. When I walk over here, people should be getting up off of their chairs, giving me their chairs because I'm the most important person in this school. And I walked around like that all the time after I spoke to the principal. And as I got older, I realized that unlike what my mother told me, I wasn't special. But this principal had a superpower, and that superpower was that she was the best active listener that there ever was. She was first team All-American, first team All-State. If ESPN did a power rankings of best listeners in the world, she would be numbers 1, 2, and 3. She was such a good active listener that every time an angry person walked into her office, they felt heard. Because you can't have a solution to everyone's problem, but they felt heard and they felt valued, and there's nothing more important than having someone feel valued. That feels so good. I read an article recently that said, giving someone your undivided attention is a form of love. Do we agree with that? Now, I agree with that for sure, and it's not just because I wrote the article. And as I sit here and I look at you all giving me your undivided attention, I realize that you all love me. And while I can't say that I feel the same, I am flattered. So with that, think about how can you become the best active listener and transform every relationship that you have, whether in the workplace, at home, because giving someone your undivided attention really is the best form of love.